Today we're going to be talking about how to deliver a webinar. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about how to deliver a webinar. Webinars are a great tool. They can be used for sales, marketing, training, education. The opportunities for webinars are endless, and all of them are built on the idea that you actually have a group of people that register to attend this webinar. It gives you the power of you've now captured their name and email address so you can communicate with them after the webinar has ended, but you're also delivering content to them in a great way. I love this platform. I've been doing it a lot more lately, and I'm very excited to see what happens with this platform and how much more it can grow. And it's grown a lot. So all of the webinars that we deliver have to be delivered on some level of a tool like this one, Webinars OnAir, Webinar Jam, Easy Webinar, GoToWebinar. All of them work very similarly, and that they allow you to set up a webinar in advance, and then you can promote the webinar with the registration. You deliver the webinar, and then you have the ability to follow up with them. So I'm going to be delivering a webinar that most of you should have already signed up for, but if you haven't, it is on March 23rd. It's Going Paperless with Evernote. If you haven't registered for that webinar yet, the link for it is down in the description below. But rather than creating a brand new webinar and all that stuff, I'm just going to show you the one that I'm already marketing and promoting. I'm not going to go over the marketing and promotion side of the webinar. That's a topic for a different video, but for right now, we're just going to look at this one here. So I'm going to pop into the back end of this. So the first thing you do is you give it a title. Then you give it a description. Pretty self-explanatory. You set up whether you want to use the thank you page redirect option. This is an option where if a registrant registers, it will then redirect them to a page of your choice. I don't necessarily do it with the registration, but I do redirect them at the end of my webinar, which is a different feature altogether. Free or paid webinar, obviously this one's free. Panelists, these are the people that are going to be in the room presenting with you. I don't have any for this webinar, but one of the cool things, at least with this platform, is I can actually, in the middle of a webinar, decide if I want to bring someone in. Maybe I see someone pop on and I know they have a really good testimonial, and I want to bring them into the room and give their testimonial. I can do that right within inside of the webinar itself. I don't have to preset them as a panelist, but if I know they're going to be a presenter in advance, I will set them up as a panelist. Autoresponder is a way that you can link when a person registers, it automatically sends their information to your mail list. I didn't necessarily use that for this one, but that option is there. And then the big thing is the ability to customize the registration page. So all of these webinar packages have a way for people to register in to webinars. And here's the registration page for this current webinar. And this is what is currently live. So you can see I've got my nice little graphic. I've got some information about the webinar. It's better to be upfront with what you're going to be doing inside the webinar instead of giving them a false sense of hope. Everything that I've listed here is actually going to be happening in the webinar. I have not tricked anyone into signing up for something that I'm not actually going to be offering. So you can see it's very clean, and if I wanted to, I could change the theme. They do have several themes you can choose from. I always use this theme just because I think it looks the nicest, but it's so simple. This took me 5 minutes to build. Literally, from the time I clicked schedule a webinar to the time I finished customizing the page, it maybe took me 5 minutes. And running the webinar is just as easy. All I have to do from my main dashboard here, all I have to do is click on the actions icon, and click Start Webinar. Once I do that, it opens up the webinar room and we are good to go. So that is it on how you deliver webinars. I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.